Alright. We have business to handle here. We got through the seemingly shortest summation examination we've ever had. And it didn't really prove anything other than maybe that's a reflection on the attitudes toward a certain class of folks, certain financial class of folks in London society here, that moment there's any insinuation whatsoever that they are not paying their taxes, the mighty fine, well-off rank and file then turn tail on them and throw them under the bus. Anyways, let's find out how Mr. Shamspear is stealing gas. I presume that's where we're headed. At the very least, we need to know what Mommy? Yes, Mommy? Yes, Miss Queen Bee here has to say about the evidence they have against Mr. Shamspear. The Altamont Gas Company's investigation. I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept through petty bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours worth of gorgeous gas. And yet the meter in Mr. Shamspear's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key. Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny, and that's not thieving, what is? Curious. Pray forgive the discourtesy. The relevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hallowed chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks? Did the mustached Nepalese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet, now we must listen to this abhorrence. Oh, 2 chalices. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance. Oh, shut up. But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. We are, in fact... While in theory, you might be right. This is a jury system, and we are, in fact, answering the questions of the jury. We raise those questions, but do what you will. Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood. Quite. Yes, he does. An attempted poisoning and an incidence of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance. I wonder. The truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is.
Hold it!
So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters? That I do. I have to try to catch people when they're in. Then I ask permission to come inside and do my business. Vampire bee. Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before, as well as that of Mr. Shamspear? Well, now, interesting you should bring that up. Because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. You know, the pair of them survived the winter is beyond me, it really is. Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books. And then when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth. And you will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Wiedemann. Not what to say, really, but as you wish. Through penny bits. Oh, good old Twitch bits.
Hold it!
So all London houses have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, aren't they? Even before some big streamer sets up a method where you can donate to... You have a crazy live stream, one of those crazy live stream 24/7 house bits where you can donate bits to turn on the gas and warm the house for an hour. They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. Anyone who uses our gas will have one of those meters in their property, yes. So if a 3-pence coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people would use about 3 coins in a night. Yeah, a bit more than that, usually. They have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is. Thinking about it, Soseki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Ah, yes. I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually. How does the money in the meter never get back? Ah, how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company? Every 3 days, gas men like me visit the properties of the gas supply and empty the meters of coins. I must say, the design and manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part. Aha, because they have to pay in advance, you mean? Yes, exactly right.
Hold it!
Out of interest, how long has this been going on? Weeks and weeks. He's been pinching gas off us for ages. And you've examined the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room, I take it? Naturally. We took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb. And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume. No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamspere Special. Whoa! That sounds like it would have to cost an awful lot of 3-penny pieces. Even after that, the rascal's meter was still empty. I'll never forget the humiliation. When I opened up the money box and found it bare. You what? I said. You what? God, that fucking face jump scare. And the look on his face. That smarmy smile of his. Ah. I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Well, trace with me anywhere. Not a single sign. What's happened to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what. A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter? Nothing became of it. I've still got it. Oh. Right here. No wonder they call you Meter Man. I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing. Oh, Pog. Let's do it. Definitely. Although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. I would say it has much value as the contents of that meter. Oh. It's a very sturdy-looking padlock, isn't it? And the money box is sealed with beeswax, too. So if Mr. Sholmes were to get up to any mischief, he'd be found out immediately. Mr. Naruhodo, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Sholmes would... You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you? Well, anyway, it's understandable that the gas company would want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs. But it does feel a little over the top, perhaps, doesn't it? What is this? Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo? Just here. There's a little hole. Do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So, you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamspere? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious. Tiny hole in the base. Customly rotate. 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 Uh-oh. How'd we get sideways? I don't know. We're out of control, Captain. We're losing control of this ship. Oh, God. I don't think there's anything else we can glean from this. Back. Seen you. He's seen you. He examined you. Did we examine you yet? I can't find anything out of place. What is this? Oh. What is it, Mr. Naruhodo? This bar of soap. When we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in this depression just here. A reddish one. Yes, you're right. I remember it too. But now the depression is completely empty. Now the only thing that's left in there is my depression. Where could the disc have gone? The little reddish medallion in the center has mysteriously vanished. A bit of exploration here. Now that we've seen that. There's only one key for all of your meters. Or maybe we present the gas meter there. Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vault at our main office. But even if someone had managed to get a hold of a key, we'd know if the coin box had been opened. Oh? How? I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens. Would you care to explain? Well now, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock the padlock and remove the cover. When I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you see. A seal? Beeswax, of course it's beeswax. They're a hive of bees. Like the sort of thing you'd put on an envelope, you mean? Something like that, yeah. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal. Now, in the case of Mr. Shamsphere's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said. The seal hadn't been broken either. So that would mean Mr. Shamsphere somehow managed to steal coins from inside the meter without opening it. It would seem so, but that would be impossible.
Hold it!
How do you know that he's been using gas, though? Well, now, since I started investigating this bloke, I've been to his room more than a few times. On every single occasion, his lamp's been blazing and his stove pounding. It's the middle of winter, and he still turns to me, sweat dripping down his cheeks, and says, "Get thee to a nunnery." Hamlet, indeed. I can wring that bloke's neck, get all hot in the collar, but still. Time to open up that flaming meter, it's empty. He's robbing me my salary, too. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice? But how can Mr. Shamsphere possibly be stealing the money? I don't understand. The simple explanation is right before your eyes. What? A toast to you eventually realizing that the gas man could be an accomplice. What? Good lord, eminently plausible indeed. Uh-oh. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? Poke. Oh, please, Lady Quidby, I'm a faithful worker. Besides, the money us gasmen collect doesn't tally with how much gas has been used. You talk all pay by the same amount. So you'd be stealing money only to have the same amount taken from your wages. Clearly that makes no sense. Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war? No, I'm not going to stir up that hornet's nest. If I went stealing from the company, I'd be finished. It would seem there is no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim, because Mr. William Shamsphere is innocent. 3 Chalice. Pray, forgive me if that shatters some illusion my learned Nepalese friend was clearly under. You're missing the point here. I certainly didn't expect to uncover another crime that looks like it's been taking place in the very same room. According to the testimony, it's only the meter in Mr. Shamsphere's room that's under suspicion. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with the incident involving Mr. Natsume. I know it does seem that way, but the fact is, since I've been practicing law in England, I feel like I've encountered this at least once already. Cases that are interlinked. Oh. It might seem that two cases have nothing to do with one another at first, but in fact they're intimately connected. Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance. Perhaps. We can't be too sure of that yet. The attack on olive green. The, fire in the, rampaging lion tearing up the, Mr. Garadib's room upstairs. Realistically, that would be the only, case that we've encountered at this point. If the Ultimate Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Shamspeare so earnestly, there must be something to it. But then how has he been managing to steal their gas? We'll cross the bridge of what this has to do with anything. We'll cross the bridge as far as what this has to do with anything when we get to it, or when Van Zieks has enough of our shit and tells us to get to it.
Objection!
Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What? Get away! I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box? Oh? What? You're right. You're quite right. There is a little hole here. Meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamspeare secretly opened up this hole himself. Yes, he wouldn't be at all surprised. But why? Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. Couldn't get a farthing through that. Lady Altamont, what if you could give the court some more details about your meter design? What sort of details? Well, what I'd specifically like to know is... We've heard about how it's dismantled. Tell us about the coins. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed as a 3 penny bit? Ha! I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A 3 penny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out. This will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent. As you wish, my lord. Alright. What does this get us?
Hold it!
But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly in terms of diameter and thickness could equally well be used. Would, that be true? Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into it to a certain extent as well. We thought that through anyway. If I find any fake coins inside that coin box when I empty the meter. Contract says that the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they deal as a fine. We live for moments like that, us gasmen do. Live for them. That is uncanny. It would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Woohoo! Hurrah for gas! Hurrah for cash! Altamont on the way! That's quite enough of that. But, yes, thank you. Remind me, how big are threepenny bits? About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is the 2 centimeters measurement significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on? Yes, maybe right. Different tack here. We'll delve deeper. Why not? Are this kind of a swap between, like, testimonies here? Like, this feels relevant because we have a coin-shaped divot in the soap that we found. But let's see. How can the meter be dismantled? Dismantled? Yes, given that there are no signs of it having been forced. I'm wondering if perhaps rather than being broken open, it might have been taken apart. Well, yes, that does make sense. Some sense. The padlocks are made by a first-class locksmith from the finest quality steel. The meter box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. I can assure you it's quite impossible to dismantle it. Woohoo! Yeah, nothing leaks from it, ultimate meter. No coins, no gas, no nothing. I see. Witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent. As you wish, my lord.
Hold it!
We'll press this just in case. Has anyone ever tried? Oh yeah, they've tried. They've all given up before long. After all, if they actually broke the meter, the company would be able to take legal action. And we love that. Yes, that makes sense. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is the world still construct? This is just a swap between. We'll skip through this here. Yeah, this just swaps between here. That's going to become relevant, isn't it? And it's right below the meter with a hole in the base now. Because we're yearning. This new? Oh, look at this bar of soap. The circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across. Or 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think? We did find this soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes. Yes, there were 2 bars on that little ledge just outside the window. So we took this one. Actually, when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there. I remember it clearly. Yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? We now have this information to go off of here.
Objection!
Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. There's something of a coincidence. While we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as a threepenny bit? What was it? The item in question is this. That is soap. Bah? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap. It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say. Looks like I'm gonna have to point out exactly what I mean here. Alright. What's so important about the soap? Is this part here? Alright.
Got it!
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? That's right. A depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. Get away! Does anyone here present have in their possession a threepenny bit? With me now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen. To me specifically. Donate to my GoFundMe. Sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it? Let's see. Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to receive it fit. My word, it couldn't be more snug. Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Baltimore Gas Company is being defrauded. Well, I don't believe it. Oh, her dress is even B-striped. 4 chalice. So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas. Yes! The depression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit. I must concur, at least, that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape. And then you could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You could make fake coins in no time. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shakespeare has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man has been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter. Quite true, Lady Altamont. The absence of some black magic that could make them disappear. Van Zeek's the start of this. I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes. You're gonna say something racist, aren't you? Exactly. The meter here gives it away. What on earth? There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room. No, okay, he's actually locked onto what we're cooking here. If that is... I mean, can you blame me? Has he not made comments in the past about Nipponese black magic? But if that is your assertion, Counsel, then the defense will identify these remnants to the court at once. Whether the remnants of the method be used to make the fake coin disappear be seen. It's gotta be here, right? There's this little hole in the bottom of the meter here, isn't there? Looks as though it was made by somebody who didn't really have the right tools. It does actually go all the way through up to the inside. It's hard to see that unless you look closely. In fact, it goes right into the part of the meter where the money ends up. Well, it's nothing then, Well, you couldn't possibly extract a coin through such a small hole, could you? No, I suppose not. But then the question remains, why would somebody go to the effort of making a hole here? It's gonna come down to this, but is there a way on here that's going to show that first? This is quite a tough padlock. What are you doing, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I was just seeing if it was possible to force it open. If you break it, I'm afraid you'll be forced to pay a fine. Oh no! Whew, that was close then. Perhaps tell me a little sooner next time? Okay, so maybe it is this then.
Got it!
I found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window. Outside? Yes, outside. Where you yourself, Mr. Meteran, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found this soap. Ah, I get it. That's right. The answer, of course, is ice. Did you say ice? Mr. Shamspeare has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening, filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen and solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts, turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made into the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas. Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water. That's right, madam. I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless. I'm fairly sure I didn't design it. Evidence. Sorry. I want evidence. If you're going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she? She is a very noble businesswoman. Very well, Lady Altamont. If you would like evidence, I'll provide it. What? Hey, give me the wiggle! Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory? I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. Alright. You're just looking at this, and it's gonna come back to...
Take that!
this. This is the photograph of the scene at the point where the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. It clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamspeare. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspeare's room. Now look closely at the floorboards directly under the meter. What is that? Some kind of grubby stain? Most certainly, it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter. Ah! If one coin gives another around 2 hours of gas usage, the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours. We can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. Melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor. This is awful. And there's further evidence, too. Mr. Shamspeare is slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap broken in half. Break the soap in half, get your coin. You're right. It appeared to me then, counsel, that the man was eating the soap wasn't... pardon me from disagreeing with your lordship, but... certainly not. He didn't beat about the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shamspeare was found with a fork in his hand. A meal of soap isn't something sounding increasingly likely, Lord Van Zandt. You mean to say? Using that fork to... Yes, extract the coins. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. Ah! The bar broke in half. Perhaps it didn't go very well. Good gracious. Oh! Rip. There goes the bottle. Lord Van Zeeks. Now we get to the question of what does this have to do with the poisoning. I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray, forgive my maladroit mistake. What is the meaning of this, counsel? Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination? Well... That Mr. William Shamspeare is a liar and a thief. Thank you, Susanna. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable. That's it. That's exactly it. Very well. Let us assume that man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well... Can actually recall his testimony. We know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. Uh-oh. On the night in question, there were no visitors in the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Uh-oh. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. This court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. You still have the missing 3 hours to deal with, even if William Shamspeare is the liar you claim him to be. These facts have been objectively established. There is no escaping it. Uh-oh. Yeah. Therefore, in light of these facts, prosecution calls for immediate adjudication. You... What?! Order! Order! Well, counsel, how did the defense respond? Mr. Naruhodo, get up! What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zix is saying? What could go wrong? No, this isn't over. The defense, not rest. What? But counsel, you successfully explained everything. You identified and substantiated the unscrupulous method employed by Mr. Shamspeare to consume gas. What more is there to discuss? Lord Van Zix just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. But contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all. What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend? At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption made due to a lack of evidence. Oh. Got him. The situation has changed now, following the cross-examination of the latest witnesses to take the stand. Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense? Yes, when you bring everything that we've learned so far together, consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question we now need to reconsider. Namely... This is actually a really good question to consider here. This is a really good question to consider here. Thinking about this objectively, I don't think we can logistically raise this as an objection yet. That is, of all the questions, this is the most objectively answered. And this is one that we've made the assumption because of the lack of evidence, and the introduction of the gas running gives us an avenue to explore. I think I got it. We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that affected Mr. Shamspeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume. That's conjecture at best. We literally can't disprove it.
Objection!
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. Since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it could be tested for traces of poison.
Objection!
As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene. A particular piece of evidence proves it, what?
Objection!
A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed? That's made a bold claim indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. To see if the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea. It's the teacup which Mr. Natsume was drinking. Yes, unlike the other one, the inside of this cup is completely clean. Suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark. I always gulp it down, too. Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold. Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea. Ah. There's no tea ring on Mr. Natsume's cup. Tea ring, tea stain. On Shamspeare's cup. Is that the evidence?
Take that!
What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Mr. Natsume's tea, Counsel? Well, I suspect it may, possibly, be related to the tea itself, so nope, never mind. Then you will be digging for a very long time indeed, my learned friend. Oh. You're at the bottom of the deepest chasm. You will find no sense in that absurd assertion. Ah! Ugh, sometimes I wish I could disappear down a deep chasm to escape his deep sarcasm. Advise you think more deeply before you answer again this time. There's gonna be evidence later. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be evidence later about why wasn't Mr. Natsume poisoned and all that snaz. What is the evidence now? What does this mean? Is it this? I mean, I'll try this.
Take that!
What's that? False. Unless that has to do with this watch.
Take that!
False. Okay. This answer genuinely. Maybe that's what they were talking about, the red medallion in here.
Take that!
They kept mentioning the red medallion that was in here. This is just me in my head trying to figure out why this is the answer. Good gracious. The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice? Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Think about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, There's actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yeah. But there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice. There was something strange about them, you mean? Exactly, something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red. No, you mean? That's right. It's obvious to me now. We don't have any evidence of this, but the fake coins in the soap made from frozen tea. What? Remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room as a gift. Oh, the water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. This is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never. Ah, yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains at the east end are prone to freezing. So the night in question, Mr. Shamspeare, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins. Okay, that makes sense. My word! There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right. We only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Ah! Roasted solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamspeare's window. Extraordinary! But the other day, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even one drop of the tea remains, Scotland Yard will be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has until now been mere conjecture. But finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contains strychnine at all. Ugh, you smug Nipponese. My lord, we cannot do the defendant in the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once, and the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it, to determine whether or not it contains any poison. Bailiff, instruct the police to attend the scene at once. Yes, my lord. Understood. But see, we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks. None, my lord. Scotland Yard will recover the tea for the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. Our trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. Prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim. Yes, my lord. Well, that was terrifying. We managed to scrape through there somehow. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow. Hot diggity. I'll tell you one thing. There's a fair bit about these that I am familiar with. A fair bit about this game that I'm familiar with. That's why it's not tagged as a blind playthrough. But I genuinely don't not remember whatsoever how the second half of this case goes. And I'm very spotty on parts of the rest of it. It's just some big plot points I am familiar with. I'm very spotty on the specifics and how everything ties together. So there's still gonna be some fun experiences to be had. And I have a personal pet thesis with regards to enjoying games while being spoiled on some parts of them. But that's a discussion for another time. Whew, made it back in one piece. Just. I'm perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There's so many carriages on the streets of London. You were very nearly flattened several times. Oh, no, I didn't mean that, but also that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san. It really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now that your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow. Yes, let's do that. Is everything all right? I suppose I still can't quite believe it, that's all. But I'm here in England working as a lawyer, I mean. In the Old Bailey, no less. Truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean... Never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. You're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I have no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Oh, that sad smile of hers. Thank you, Suzato-san. Thank you. You've been wearing that ever since we arrived in Great Britain, haven't you? Well, it's what shows that I'm a lawyer, so it seems appropriate. I'm not sure that it really means much in this country, though, I'm afraid. I wouldn't say that. It may not be official, but it looks official. Often when the police stop me, I just show them this and they leave me alone. You're stopped by the police? Often? Well, you know, I'm a suspicious foreigner dressed all in black with a sword at my side. Don't you think it's probably the sword that's the main reason? Still, it makes me happy to see you wearing it. And the armband. Yes, I made up my mind that I'll carry them always. A symbol of who I am and the sword, Karuma. Oh, that was a wholesome one. Is there anything to be had here? Do we have a gas meter we can look at? I heard that there's another room behind that door. Yes, it's my bedroom, Naruhodo-san, as you well know. Shall I help you unpack your things? That's very kind, but no thank you. Your luggage looked very heavy. Are you sure I can't help you move it? That's very kind, but really, no thank you. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. The only secret I have is the 5-yen banknote hidden on the backside of my Daruma doll. And now we know. These tanks for keeping sea creatures. They're called aquariums. They were all the rage in London at one time, apparently. Yes. The English are so clever, coming up with the idea of having ocean life on display in their home. It means you always have an emergency midnight feast on hand, too. Don't eat the pet fish. I'm not sure that's really the idea. Emergency feast at hand. Naruhodo. That is in fact a lie. I do not see it. That is the floor. It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? And the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand. I know. Not only that, but then finding out that he is actually a bare-faced gas thief as well. Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki-san poisoning the tea. Carefully your phrasing, Suzato-san. He didn't poison anything. There's more to this Mr. Shamspeare than we yet know. I'm sure of it. Mr. Shamspeare certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first. I guess you could say he was, in fact, a sham? What's become of him, actually? I was told that he'd be returning to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment. Oh, which one is that? We're really curious to talk to him. Let me see. Ah, yes. He's at St. Bartholomew's, or Bart's, as Londoners call it. You know that place, don't we? Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she was taken. She's a cute. Easy for me to say, right? She has some role to play in this case yet, too, doesn't she? Fucking a drone bee. Ah, yes. After Soseki-san stabbed her in the back. Do be careful of your phrasing, Mr. Naruhodo-san. She didn't stab anyone. Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. What next? So we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. As he isn't the culprit, then obviously... Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea. If that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspeare's body? I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspeare's room that will help solve the mystery. Oh, naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been over that place already. It couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Definitely. I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea left in the bar of soap. Well, if we went into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that. Alright. Important conversation here. Kazuma Asogi, the best friend I ever had. A lawyer with such promise. Really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. Kazuma-theme. I still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea that he came up with. As a stowaway? Yes, you can fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know. Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. That you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it. Believe me, I guarantee it. I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world, the city at the forefront of everything. Can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about Kazuma. Yeah, he's forever in my thoughts, too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. That's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. Yes, that's right. But... Huh. I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. Thought just takes hold of me every now and then, that's all. I found myself remembering a certain telegram I haven't experienced yet in this timeline, and wonder. This is a fun thought to ponder. Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions? I mean this. Karma. His katana? I never expected to inherit this sword after Kazuma passed away, of course. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Oh? Karma. That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. It can't be parted from my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. Bandana's still blowing. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew he wouldn't let me down. What did he mean by something very important that I have to do? I'd hoped that the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet I've not found a single clue. I see. Very curious. Go see Sholmes. Go see Olive. Go see Shamspear. Go to Briar Road. Go see Soseki. We have plenty of places to go here. We will do that next time, though. As we have a big unknown for me. I genuinely don't know how the second half of this case goes, and I'm excited to find out. Until then.